Grab your light sticks, kiss your photo cards goodbye, and go cry in your kimchi. The K-pop sky is or was falling. Yep, money real tight right now in the music industry, period. The big four of K-pop, YG, JYP, SM, and HYBE have been in a slump. The bubble burst, kinda, in 2023. The global phenomenon simmered down to a local curiosity. At least, that's the dramatic story some headlines in Korean and Western media tried to sell us during the great pause of 2024 and 2025. It has been a trying time for those who enjoy a bit of stability with their morning coffee and K-pop industry news. Pundits, haters, and clickbait-driven media, armed with selective data points, a flair for the dramatic, painted a grim picture of a marketing retreat. The financial gurus whispered about slowing growth, the dreaded peak. The K-pop faithful have even noticed. Something ain't right, honey. You feel it. I feel it. So what is happening in the K-pop industry and why? Is it all over? We are going to dive in. First off, the K-pop industry wasn't collapsing. It was taking a breath. It was waiting for its titans to return to the arena. And as we stand here today, in 2025, the forecast for 2026 is looking anything but grim. In fact, it's looking like a record breaker. Why? Because the single biggest engine in the K-pop industry is warming up on the sidelines, and its name is BTS. The central claim isn't just a fan's hopeful dream. This isn't another BTS Army Circle Jerk video. It's a data-backed reality. BTS has always led the charge, and all signs point to them doing it again, pulling the entire industry toward its most profitable year ever. Cause this shit needs a rescue plan. But where are my manners? Hi, welcome to my channel. Here at Nomadic Kitty, we are a ragtag community of Delulu-free K-pop stans. Yes, BTS is the focus, but not the mission. I inform, entertain, piss off the Delulas, and you bitches love it, so subscribe. So, let's set the record straight for those in the back. The whispers of K-pop's demise were, to put it mildly, greatly exaggerated. While some analysts were busy writing its obituary, others were running the numbers on what a full-force BTS comeback would do to the market. Yes, the industry wobbled like me wearing heels at a club. However, it never lost its footing. It was simply in a holding pattern, preparing for a gravitational shift. That shift is coming in 2026, and it promises to be spectacular, profitable, and soundtracked by what will surely be a BTS chart-dominating new album. The narrative of a slump was easy to sell because it's a simple story, and people are simple. But the truth is more complex and far more interesting. It's a story of cycles, strategic pauses, and industries so heavily influenced by a single entity that its absence is felt on a global scale. Now, K-pop's return is poised to make an even bigger impact. Forget the doomsayers and their gloomy predictions. The data tells a story of an epic comeback. The K-pop sky isn't falling. It's about to be lit up like never before. And we all know who's bringing the fireworks. The so-called slip of 2024-2025. Let's dissect this supposed slip. What actually happened in 2024? And in 2025? For starters, the explosive exponential growth we had gotten used to began to normalize. You can't sprint a marathon, and the K-pop industry had been sprinting for years. Album sales, still impressive for many top-tier artists, didn't uniformly shatter records with every single release. Some concert tickets in less established markets didn't sell out in 5 seconds, but maybe took a whole day. The horror, it was a market correction, not a market collapse. A period of adjustment after a truly unprecedented global surge. The Financial Times noted that the pace of growth in physical album sales had slowed from its previous breakneck speed. Top acts continued to sell millions. The middle-tier artists faced a more challenging environment. This created a visible gap in the market. Some analysts highlighted ticket price resistance, suggesting consumers were more discerning, being selective, but not abandoning K-pop entirely. 'Cause hell, those concerts ain't cheap. This period was also defined by a transitional phase. Several of K-pop's most established, stadium-filling acts were in the midst of planned hiatuses, military service, or focusing on solo activities. This is a natural part of any group's long-term career cycle. While newer fourth-generation groups, fifth-generation groups worked tirelessly and achieved incredible success, they were still building the global fandom and touring infrastructure that takes years to solidify. Also, the fifth generation kind of sucks. Plus, you can't expect a group in their third year to have the same global touring power as a group in their 10th. The giants were resting, creating a temporary power vacuum that no single new act could instantly fill. So yes, the numbers for 2024 and 2025 look different. They showed a market that was maturing, diversifying, and frankly catching its breath. The growth became more stratified, with mega groups like Stray Kids, ATEEZ, and Blackpink still performing exceptionally well, while others found the climb steeper. But calling it a burst bubble is a fundamental misreading of the situation. Also in 2025, the dumb tariffs hit, and that too, as I said back in March, has affected the financial stability of the music industry as a whole. It was the quiet before the storm, a necessary pause in the narrative. The ecosystem was recalibrating. Demand wasn't vanishing. It was accumulating, building up pressure like a coiled spring. Just when the narrative of decline was getting comfortable, the analysts returned with a new set of spreadsheets, and these ones told a very different story for 2026. The consensus? Get ready for record earnings. A pivotal report from the Korea Times laid out the case quite clearly. It quoted multiple securities analysts projecting highest ever earnings in 2026. Their reasoning was simple and powerful: the scheduled return of heavyweight artists. The article specifically named BTS as the primary driver. The return of a group with massive global drawing power creates a super event. It's not just another album release, a cultural moment. The Financial Times echoed this with charts and market analysis. A few top-tier groups can elevate the entire market. When BTS announced the comeback, it fundamentally changed the financial outlook. Yes, BTS is carrying the industry on their backs and dragging it to safety. It's the difference between a good year and a landmark year. Analysts aren't guessing. They're calculating from precedent. The spreadsheets have spoken, and they are unapologetically bullish. The math is finally mathing. In the world of K-pop economics, no two words carry more weight than album and tour. For a group of BTS's stature, these aren't just activities. They are seismic events with massive financial implications. An album release from BTS isn't merely about dropping new music. It's a multi-platform global takeover. Pre-order numbers are scrutinized like national economic indicators. First week sales may break global records. A new album then triggers a tsunami across streaming platforms, Spotify, YouTube. This dominance generates enormous revenue and ad impressions. Then comes the tour. A BTS stadium tour is a traveling economic boom. We're talking multiple nights in 70,000 seat stadiums across continents. Ticket sales alone run into the hundreds of millions of dollars. Previous tours have set the benchmark: Wembley Stadium, Rose Bowl. The expectation for a 2026 tour: even bigger, more ambitious, more profitable. So, bow down, haters. A BTS tour is a masterclass in ancillary revenue. Merchandise sales are legendary. Bring on the light sticks, exclusive apparel, and product tie-ins. Beyond the gates of the stadium, the hotels, restaurants, and transportation receive a revenue spike. K-pop is tourism board's wet dream of a halo effect. It's a measurable economic injection, turning concerts into travel events. Combine monumental album sales and streams with a colossal world tour, and you get the engine of the 2026 recovery. It's a 1-2 punch no one else matches at this scale. Let's be fair and give credit where it's due. The K-pop industry is not a one-man show. The market in 2026 will be bolstered by many other artists: Stray Kids, 17, ATEEZ, IVE, brand deals, and fashion domination. Their contributions are vital. They keep the conversation going. They cultivate new fans. They keep the pipeline robust. 17's consistent album sales. Stray Kids selling out North America and Europe. Zero, Base One, and fifth generation energy. These successes provide stability and growth. See fifth gen, you can be useful, a little. However, no other artist commands the same global, cross-cultural economic power as BTS. It's a matter of scale. Other groups sell out arenas. BTS sells out stadiums for multiple nights. Other groups top K-pop charts. BTS competes with Western superstars on the Billboard Hot 100. This isn't a knock on other groups. BTS functions as a market multiplier. Their return doesn't just add, but it elevates the entire game. The media spotlight on BTS draws new eyes to the genre. A journalist covering BTS might discover another group. A new fan pulled in by BTS explores the wider K-pop world. They are the gateway for millions, the tide that lifts all ships. So yes, others help, but BTS leads. In 2026, they're not just a piece. They are the centerpiece. 2 seconds. I can hear the whining from the non-believers. You feel BTS isn't that big, or carrying the industry because BTS isn't your thing, or you just don't like them. Well, Linda, if feelings were facts, every fan's favorite group would be the #1 economic driver. But we're dealing with data, and the data is overwhelmingly clear. The receipts are long and detailed. Let's start with album sales. Map of the Soul 7 sold over 4 million first-week sales in 2020. That number still stands as a benchmark. BTS's Proof sold over 2 million copies sold on its first day. These rival the biggest releases worldwide. A new studio album in 2026 is conservatively expected to meet or exceed those precedents. Now, touring. Nearly $200 million gross from 42 shows before peak global visibility. Permission to Dance on Stage in Las Vegas sold out and was an $100 million economic impact for the city. Not just concert revenue, but economic stimulation. Analysts forecast the record 2026 by multiplying past successes with built-up demand. The potential tour revenue is staggering. BTS, one of the most streamed groups on Spotify for years, billions of streams annually, even during hiatus. Dynamite, Butter, global smashes that penetrated mainstream Western radio. When a new album drops, the entire catalog surges. Finally, brand value. Solo projects maintain sustained visibility. Fashion brand deals such as Dior, Celine, Bottega Veneta fuels BTS popularity and relevancy. As BTS returned from the military, partnership demand spiked. The case is irrefutable. So you may not like BTS or hate on them, but numbers don't lie, and your feelings aren't facts, sweetheart. In any discussion about BTS's economic impact, it would be a massive oversight to ignore ARMY. This isn't your average fan club. It's highly organized, global, and loyal. They don't just buy one copy, they buy multiple versions to collect photo cards and support charts. That's how first-week numbers become jaw-dropping. When tour dates drop, thousands travel internationally, booking flights, booking hotels, turning concerts into vacations. Local economies feel the surge. Their digital activity is relentless and effective. Streaming parties on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, coordinated hashtag campaigns that generate priceless organic marketing. This labor translates into chart positions, which lead to radio play, media coverage, and broader discovery. Analysts know demand hasn't waned, but it's stored up. Anticipation for a new album and tour is at a fever pitch. Overwhelming response is virtually guaranteed. Other artists have dedicated fans, but ARMY's scale, organization, and spending power are singular. They are ready to invest in the 2026 comeback. We may be feared, mocked, or hated, but our power is to be respected and used as a blueprint for your fandom. So, after reviewing the evidence, the conclusion is unavoidable. The story of K-pop's slip in 2024 and 2025 was never really about decline. It was about anticipation. It was the quiet inhale before the triumphant roar. The year 2026 is poised to be the industry's most profitable year to date, and the primary catalyst will be the full group return of BTS. Their comeback is not just another release. It's a market resetting event. A new album poised to shatter sales and streaming records. A global stadium tour set to generate hundreds of millions. Together, an economic force lifting the entire industry. This isn't fan hyperbole. These are expectations based on precedent. We will watch the comeback machine whirl to life. Teasers will drop. Pre-orders will skyrocket. The internet will break. Tour dates will be announced. The global scramble commences. To those who doubt, pull up a chair. The comeback is coming. The receipts are ready. And if you're betting on 2026, the safest bet on the board has a name: BTS. That's all for now, bitches. Like, subscribe, and comment. In your opinion, will 2026 see the return of K-pop? Is it fair that BTS has such crazy expectations? What are you looking forward to? Bye!